salvaje si te atreves.
Bailamos feria como se debe. Por ahí pa' abajo, centro dentro, baby, hoy se bebe. Toda la bitches gírense, mami, voy ser breve. Torquéate bien, ponte dentro si se atreve. Matorquéate bien, matorquéate bien, matorquéate bien, matorquéate bien. Ponte salvaje y travesita, travesita. Ponte salvaje y travesita, travesita. Matorquéate bien, matorquéate bien, matorquéate bien, matorquéate bien. Ponte salvaje y travesita, travesita. Ponte salvaje y travesita, travesita.
¿Cuál es travesito? Big stepper, no lemon pepper, pop rubber sale spotted in the jungle like a leopard. You drop it down and the ties get severed. Cállate ya, we ain't playing with it never. Showing no I'm tired of the silly little kick games. Échate pa' acá, little baby, let me kick game. I'm a player, I'm a hustler, I'm a boss. I'm about the whole bar and I don't care what it costs. Never. Hoy vamos a perrear como se debe. Todo el mundo, everybody, hoy se bebe. Seguimos acá hasta que la vibra se entregue. Escúchate este ritmo pa' que te pegue.
Hoy vamos a pelear como se debe. Por ahí pa' abajo, centro dentro, baby, hoy se bebe. Toda la bitches gírense, mami, voy ser breve. Torquéate bien, ponte atrás si se atreve. Matorquéate bien, matorquéate bien, matorquéate bien, matorquéate bien. Ponte salvaje y travesita, travesita. Ponte salvaje y travesita, travesita.
Con el travesito.
from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yeah. I kind of forgot to do something this morning, so let me fix that right now. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where sometimes you got to tell people that you're here. And unfortunately, I mistakenly did not put the show on the internet today. So here, let me fix that. All right, there we go. I just did it. Hi, how are you doing? Happy Hump Day on the Morning Night Live on this Wednesday, the 18th of September, 2024. I am so happy to see you. Well, I see a little happy face. See, I have one of these. I have these camera. Well, it's just a little cheap webcam, but it's a 4K webcam. But it has I have a little teleprompter mirror thing that I can use my phone. I can use my phone as a teleprompter when I'm making videos. And I have a picture with a happy face, so I know where to look at the camera. So I'm looking at you, and all I see is a little, well, here, I'll show you. I see this. I see this happy face. That's how I know that I'm looking in the right place. So anyway, nice to see you smiling. It seems to be a First Amendment day on the Morning Night Live because a lot of my stories have something to do with the First Amendment. Basically, because for some reason, Democrats think it doesn't apply to everybody. It only applies to who they think it can and who they think that they can tell what they are allowed to say and what they're allowed to do. And there's a couple of really wild examples today that I'm going to talk about. And then also, and then I just happen to have some stories that have to do with kind of more like news stuff, right? But we talked about Hillary Clinton, saying that people should be criminally charged for propaganda yesterday, and Tim Walz said something dumb too, saying that well, I'll get to that later. Anyway, how you doing? Happy Wednesday. It is Hump Day, as we know, and it's interesting because today on a Hump Day, and I opened up the Hump Day Twitter trend, and the first thing I saw was, well, at least they're clothed this time. I mean, this Hump Day, it's Good Morning Patriots, Happy Hump Day. Politics start in 3, 2, 1. Now, I'm not going to scroll down or scroll any farther than that because, well, I mean, she is clothed. It's just she's got buttocks showing, and I'm like, why are you showing your buttock? But the very next one is after that is much more than just buttocks. So I'm not going to show it. So anyway, actually, that one's not too bad either. It's like if someone had a thong on or whatever. But it's Hump Day. Happy Hump Day, and that trending topic will be in the links today. So if there's some things that might help you get your jollies, whatever. Also, you know what else this is today? There's a couple other things that are significant, but today is the 1,369th episode of the Morning Night Live. I don't know why I thought I needed to tell you that. 1,369. Oh, yeah.
Your life makes me sad.
Shut up, monkey. I don't know if you heard that. I hit this one too.
Your life makes me sad.
Yes, it kind of does. Okay. Today I got my cup of coffee, sponsored by Big Daddy. Now, if you're wondering who Big Daddy is, well, that's me. I have a lot of nicknames I've had over the years. When I was a kid, one of my nicknames was Dr. M, which was kind of dumb because my favorite basketball player was Dr. J, and I just thought it'd be cool to say something about Dr. M, and then someone said, well, we're going to call you Dr. M. And I said, no, that's kind of dumb. Big Daddy, that was my nickname when I was a bartender at TGI Fridays when I went to the Bartender Olympics and got to the regional finals there. I've been Marty Moose when I was teaching cheerleading camps in college. We did, you did high school and college cheerleading camps. I was teaching cheerleading camps, and that was about the time the movie Vacation was out, and a lot of the campers, for some reason, heard my name was Marty, and they all knew the Marty Moose song. So, who's the moosiest moose? We know that song, And so whenever they would finish a song, I would just oblige them and say, "That's me. I'm Marty Moose." And they got a real kick out of it. I can't think of any other nicknames right now. Slam was one of my nicknames in college. I've had several. And the reason, by the way, my nickname in college was Slam is because I'm one of those people who can take a 12-ounce beer and drink it in about 1 second. I could just slam it, and I've won many a beer chugging contest in my days. So I am a Renaissance man when it comes to nicknames and the reason for those nicknames. So there you go. Now you know a little bit more about me that you probably didn't really care to know anyway. So let's start saying hello, because that's what we do before we do the news. First in the chat, of course, is Avocados Diabli, who gets the bell. Congratulations, sir. Mr. Johnny on the spot almost beat me again today. I was my screen didn't refresh. I couldn't get good morning, and I was like, damn it, he's gonna beat me today. But I gotcha. I gotcha. Where is it?
Gotcha, bitch.
There you go. I gotcha. All right. Also, good morning, Anon. 1, 2, 3. Good morning, Lord Stanhope. Unacceptable views, my other favorite Canadian. Also, good morning, Plague Trucker Zach and Anemone T2. I'll be back. Lord Stanhope's in the house. Now I gotta scroll. Sorry. Good morning, Johnny Boomer Tech, and let me pin the best place to do super chats to the top of the chat here, because if you're not subscribed, wait, that's the wrong one. What is that? Okay, we're gonna unpin that. Where's the one I wanted to put there? The best place to super chat. Oh, that's the wrong. Oh, this is that thing doing that thing again. Oh, I hate it. Okay, so if there's not a 3 here, let me put the right one up here. Superstar sponsor chat link here. Let's get that one there. We're gonna pin that. All right, now the world is right. Also, good morning to, there's lots of people here. Good morning. I said that. Scribe Light, my friend Scribe, the good man from the other end of the universe from me. Dog Thrapple. And good morning to Mr. X51. Nice to see you. Attack Alpaca. Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadian. My favorite Canadian and my second favorite Canadian are here. Or my other, I'm sorry, I can't call you my second favorite, my other favorite Canadian. Jaeger Pony is my favorite Canadian, and Unacceptable Views is my other favorite Canadian. TC's in the house, what's up? Anybody else? I'm scrolling. Anybody? Bueller? Okay. Who needs specificity? Nobody. Nobody needs specificity. But we do need synchronicity. Why did I say that? I was thinking of that album by The Police. I can't think of which songs are on Synchronicity, though. Obviously, the song Synchronicity is on Synchronicity, but there's, I don't know. It was a good album, though, even though I can't remember which songs are on it. All right, let's get into the news. Lots of things trending today, but as I said, it is Hump Day. We know that, but also, did you know? Now, this is a day that is just certainly part of my own heart. It is National Cheeseburger Day. Woo! It's National Cheeseburger Day. And the top trending X post is the famous cheeseburger skit from Saturday Night Live, the original cast, the not ready for primetime players doing the cheeseburger skit. And who's that? What is that guy's name? Robert something. He was a frequent guest on Saturday Night Live. Hello, Spidey Man, by the way. But also, I wanted to bring to your attention, if you are a fast food aficionado, several fast food joints are having a special for National Cheeseburger Day. So here's the graphic. I said here's the twice. Here's the graphic for National Cheeseburger Day. Wendy's, you get a 1-cent junior cheeseburger with an appetizer purchase. Okay. Free cheeseburger at Burger King with $1 purchase. Free jumbo Jack at Jack in the Box with $1 purchase. At McDonald's, get a double cheeseburger for 50 cents, apparently in the app. Buffalo Wild Wings, which is not a place where I would think to go get a cheeseburger, but, yes, Robert Klein, thank you, Some Noble Nation, and Good Morning, and Special Can Acid, and somebody else was there. But anyway, Buffalo Wild Wings, where I wouldn't normally get a cheeseburger because I don't, I'm not a fan of Buffalo Wild Wings. I prefer like Bonchon or what's the other one? There's another good, Wingspot. Wingstop? Is that what it's called? Wingstop with the green sign? That place is pretty good. If you're into if they have Checkers or Rallies in your town, you can get a free cheese champ with a $2 purchase. Must be part of a texting program though, which I don't want text from Checkers and Rallies. Del Taco, another place where I'm not thinking about getting a cheeseburger when I drive up to the window, but you get one Del cheeseburger, get one free. Now, I got a question for you. And also Carl's Jr.'s, Wayback Burgers, never heard of it. Smash Burger, they all have, $5 classic smash burgers with offer burger day. Okay, so anyway, it's National Cheeseburger Day. And celebrate appropriately. Don't go overboard because, we don't want you to have a stomach ache. But I got a question. I was thinking about this the other day because I went through now we don't have Del Taco in Minnesota. We have Taco Bell, which is pretty much ubiquitous around the country, and we have Taco John's. And Taco John's very similar to Del Taco as far as the food that it's pretty. I prefer Taco John. Why isn't Culver's on there? I don't know. That's just the list. In fact, let me see if anyone else. If I'm scroll down here, there's oh wow. Now this is this is a test of if you're a Midwesterner. I guess upper Midwest, because I'm not sure if this is a thing in other places. But in Minnesota, there's a burger that you can get that kind of was invented here in theory, right? You have to go to the better sit-down burger joints to get it. But here it is. If you know what this is called, I'm sure if Shiograd's here, he probably knows what this is. First person to tell me what this is. There's a name for this type of burger. If you know the name, type in the chat. Boom, boom. Thank you, Somnambule Nation. I knew you would know it. It's a Juicy Lucy. That's called a Juicy Lucy. They take the cheese. They take two fairly thin patties. They take cheese, put it in between the two, smash it around, and then you cook it. And that cheese in the middle, you might as well just that's like volcano fire, like molten lava. You got to be very careful biting into Juicy Lucy. It's very important that you cut it in half first and let that shit cool off. But my God, it is just a great way to have a burger. So anyway, congratulations, Somnambule Nation. Advocate Stab, you had it. Juicy Lucy and Tyler F. Of course, Tyler F. would know too. Yeah, that's a big thing in Minnesota, getting a Juicy Lucy. There's a place called the 5-8 in Minneapolis that claims they are the originator. There's also a place called Matt's that also claims they're originator. I don't know where it originated, but a Juicy Lucy is a big thing in Minnesota. The really good burger joints all serve them. All right, enough about National Cheeseburger Day. Let's see what else is here. And I was gonna scroll to see if there's Culver's has anything. I didn't see anything from Culver's as I scroll through, but lots of pictures of cheeseburgers. Oh, here's one. Oh, here's some more. Applebee's too. $8.99 classic handcrafted burger and fries. Well, that's not a big deal. At $8.99, we get some burger and fries. I mean, that's actually a good deal these days. Isn't that weird? And does anyone have Wayback Burgers where they live? This is the second time I've seen Wayback Burgers, but and I'm surprised that I don't see Culver's. I'm surprised I don't see. What's the one in Texas that's big? Whataburger. That everyone pronounces it Whataburger, but it's Whataburger. those are pretty good too. I had one of those ones. Those are really good. My mouth's watering because I'm thinking about a really good cheeseburger now. All right, let's get out of this topic before I drool on myself. Also today is the anniversary of the creation of the United States Air Force. I don't know. You have to go into the wild blue yonder. That's the song. Today marks the 77th birthday of the United States Air Force. We honor the brave men and women dedicated to protecting our skies and our nation. Thank you for your unwavering service and sacrifice. Your courage inspires us all. So happy birthday to the United States Air Force. Although I think the Marine pilots are top notch. Anyway, speaking of birthdays, also, when you go on X, the app formerly known as Twitter today, you'll probably notice that the number one trending topic is cat turd, and it has nothing to do with Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. No, cat turd, the person on X that, posts as the name Cat Turd. He's an author. He lives in Florida. By the way, he's kind of a sensitive little bitch, but he is a big time MAGA guy that many people follow. He's got millions of followers, and he posts a lot of stuff that. Oh, by the way, this is now he reposted this thing from Wall Street Silver. Liberals, if we could just jail Trump, get rid of MAGA and the Electoral College, stack the Supreme Court, ban voter ID, and censor free speech, we could save democracy. Yes, that is exactly right. But anyway, a lot of people are, one of the reasons Cat Turd is trending is because it's his 60th birthday. I didn't know I was older than Cat Turd. The dude looks like he's about 75. But so anyway, everyone's wishing Cat Turd a happy birthday. So, but don't ever, if you ever even mildly disagree with him, I've noticed a lot of people get blocked by him. Now, I haven't disagreed with him yet, at least not publicly, even though sometimes he says some shit where I go, really, dude? But for the most part, he posts a lot of really good, a lot of good stuff that's, if you're a MAGA person, especially. Good morning, Texas AG 007 and Anal N. What's up? They are good, not as good as they used to be. Which place are you talking about, Anal N? I am not wishing Cat Turd a happy birthday. Yeah, nor am I. But he's very ubiquitous on X, and so a lot of people are saying happy birthday to Cat Turd. Now, in more important news, not that Cat Turd's not important, I guess, I don't know. What do they call, what's the FOMC? Oh gosh, I always forget what this stands for. Hang on a second. I gotta look something up because I'm floundering here. It's the FOMC. The Federal Open Market Committee is meeting today. FOMC, the Fed, in other words. And there's people speculating, we talked about this yesterday, that they probably going to do a rate cut, a Fed rate cut. Now, when they say a Fed rate cut, it doesn't mean they're cutting your interest rates, although the Fed rates can affect the interest rates you pay on different things. But the Fed rate is the rate that the Fed, the Federal Reserve, the place that prints all the money and kind of controls the money supply for some reason, they determine what interest rates they are going to lend money to banks in the United States, so the banks can lend money to you or other, more important people. And right now, apparently the consensus is that the Fed is going to cut rates anywhere between 25 and 50 basis points. Now, the reason this is an issue, there we go. This guy says, my body's ready. Little Salt Bay. I think this is an election year ploy by the Fed. I think this is a political reason for lowering rates because, as I mentioned before, I don't know if it was yesterday or Monday, but the Fed usually doesn't lower rates during inflationary times. They don't usually lower rates when unemployment is slightly on the rise. And so we're trying to figure out, well, why the hell are they lowering rates now? There's not really any economic reason to it. At least unless they're changing their outlook or their strategy on how they use the Fed interest rates, how they manipulate our currency, so to speak. Or maybe they want more inflation. I don't know what they're doing. But anyway, this person is Happy FOMC, Fed Open Markets Committee. Which selfie do we get today? I don't think he cuts no more than 25 basis points. 50 would be shocking. Yeah, especially considering that inflation is not waning. In fact, the last couple of months it was either higher or expected or whatever, but it's not waning. So anyway, today the Fed Open Market Committee meeting is the most important in 4 years because the Fed is expected to make its first rate cut since March of 2020. The market expects a 50 basis point cut, which is bullish, but all eyes are on Powell's speech. If he mentions recession risk, markets might drop. If he signals aggressive cuts, crypto would skyrocket. Big banks expect 1 to 1.25% cuts during the year. Increased global liquidity could boost assets like Bitcoin. Q4 is set to be bullish, and everything is aligning. Yeah, great. The traditional thought is lowering rates can cause more inflation. So why are they doing it now? Oh, election year. Now, here's I wouldn't say anecdotal economic news, but it is indicative of the times we are in. Tupperware is trending. Now, why would Tupperware be trending? Well, Tupperware is trending because apparently Tupperware Brands is gearing up to file for bankruptcy as soon as this week, according to Bloomberg News. The company's shares plunged 15.8% to 43 cents after the announcement, closing down 57% overall. Now, that's interesting. Now, is there anyone here? Okay, I only want you to respond if you do not know what Tupperware is. Put 5 zeros in the chat. Just 5 zeros. If you do not know what Tupperware is, it's interesting because when I was a kid, Tupperware was a big thing, and but it was fairly expensive. So like, my parents were a little bit kind of cheap, so to speak, and so we would never buy the Tupperware. We would just use containers that something else came in. If you get a potato salad container, you save that and you use that as your Tupperware, right? But as I got older, they began to buy Rubbermaid because it's more, Tupperware used to be like, they have Tupperware parties, just like you had to buy it, like, through a rep who, multi-level marketer rep who just selling Tupperware, and then that person would get someone else to sell Tupperware, and you had to buy it from them, and you'd order it, and you'd get it like 3 months later, and it was just easier to go to the Target and buy some Rubbermaid, containers, right? So yeah, but Tupperware has been around for, I want to say, 80 years. It's basically plastic containers that seal, and you have to burp them and whatever, if you knew what that means. So, wait, David Packman, Destiny, Anna Kinsperian, Hassan Piker, and Vosh. What the fuck are we putting in my chat? Why are you mentioning all those people? I don't know. Now, good morning. Number one, remember my mom having some. Yeah. So anyway, and I don't think they ever have sold Tupperware in stores yet. I still have never seen Tupperware, actual genuine Tupperware in stores. So anyway, they are, looks like they're going to be filing for bankruptcy. And I don't know if that's a sign of the economic times or just the fact that you can get pretty good containers anywhere else. So wait, there are 5 zeros, or okay, people who don't, okay, 5s. Okay, I got it. Those are 5 zeros. So anyway, apparently though, this is interesting. Kim Kardashian, I feel like you're the only person who can still save Tupperware. Oh, they're thinking about put Kim Kardashian in Tupperware ads. That is poorly done AI right there. That's poorly done AI. Anyway, so Tupperware is probably filing for bankruptcy. I just thought it was interesting. And it's trending. So I put it in the chat. All right, here we go. Let's get into, let's see, skips. Oh, wait, I got to move this because that's the main topic, which I'll move down here. Also, a couple Trump rallies are trending. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is trending because she went to a Trump rally in Flint, Michigan. And here she is. She said, well, here's before the rally. What's she saying here?
I'm here in Flint, Michigan. Just got here, excited to greet and cheer on President Trump as he takes the stage tonight. Here in Michigan, a state he is going to win huge. We have to make sure Donald Trump gets back into the White House and makes America great again. Tune in tonight.
Now, let me make one point about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She's actually looking pretty good here, isn't she? Is that the best you've seen Sarah Huckabee Sanders look in a long time? She's lost some weight. She looks healthy. The hair's looking good, Not too much. She doesn't have that, like, that painted on face thing that she does. She looks actually pretty good right there, doesn't she? She looks healthy, and she's the governor of Arkansas, by the way. So anyway, she was. Here's a clip of her at Trump's rally in Michigan. That'd be Flint. Isn't that the place where they were fixing that water deal there? I don't even know if they're done. I know they're still working on it, but here it is. Yeah, she definitely lost some weight. Are we going to hear it or say anything? Okay.
And I think one of the other things that we all know in this room certainly is that God is not finished with you, and he has big plans.
And that probably got the that probably got Democrats left out, because you're not supposed to mention God in anything. So anyway, this was the line though at for the crowd heading to the rally at Flint, Michigan. There were lots of people. Now, here's something dumb that people do on the internet though, and I'm gonna call this out. So this is and that's not anything against Trump necessarily. It's not at all. But some people who are ultra enthusiastic about one candidate or the other, and both sides do it. But this is something dumb. So here's what this person who posted this wrote. Said Kamala could never. The line for President Trump's town hall in Flint, Michigan event, moderated by Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, right? And saying that Kamala Harris could never have a rally this big, have all this hoopla around the thing. These people are obviously selling Trump gear. And they went to, I guess it's the Dort Financial Center. I don't even know where it is. Okay. And then they're showing the line, right? Look, Kamala Harris is having giant rallies too right now. There is no doubt about it. Both candidates have large, enthusiastic rallies. It's just dumb. Now, if they had said Joseph Rahim Biden could never, then yes. But we've already seen that Kamala Harris draws big crowds, whether she's throwing a concert before it or whether it's just another rally, because she's starting to draw some crowds too. So both sides have their supporters, both sides draw big crowds, and it's a matter of everyone getting the other people to come out to vote. That's what it is. Good morning, Rockhopper, by the way. You got to get the other people to come out to vote, not just the people who would go to a rally. If you want your candidate to win, you got to talk to your neighbors. Hey, you going to vote? You going to get out there? You gonna vote? Why do you want to vote for Trump? You want to vote for Harris? Why? Let's. Here's why I want you to vote for my candidate, and here's why maybe it would be better off for the country if my candidate won. And then that's what you need to do. But because this rally thing, yes, they're great. Some people just go out of curiosity, but you got to get them there, right? You just got to get them there. Yes, internet dick measuring contest. That's exactly what it is. And right now, most people keep their pants on. So you have no idea how big their dick is. Okay? So you got to find out, not that you should be peeking their pants, but you can ask them. And then measure whether or not you can get them to come vote for your candidate. That's the only measuring contest we need to do. So anyway, Sarah Huckabee Sanders was headlining the Detroit, Michigan rally. Also, Trump has a rally today in Long Island, New York. Apparently, it's 12 hours before Trump's rally in New York City, thousands of patriots are already lined up. 60,000 people have requested tickets for the rally in New York City. Get a rope. That is a joke about Pace Picante Sauce. YouTube, that is not a threat to any political candidate. He's going to have a rally in Nassau. What is it? Nassau Coliseum in Long Island. 60,000 people signed up for it. Lots of people in line already. And so there's another big rally for Donald Trump in New York. I wonder if anyone from Brooklyn or Bronx are going to drop by. Also trending, Hanoi Jane is trending. Speaking of campaigning. Now, as in Jane, yes, Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda's in Michigan, apparently going door to door, campaigning for Kamala Harris. Now, some of the posts about her are not complimentary. This biatch. Hanoi Jane belongs in prison for treason against American soldiers back in Vietnam. That's why that was her nickname, because she was in a North Korean photo of her sitting on a tank in North Korea, or a howitzer or something. Not howitzer, like whatever. I'm dating myself? No, I don't even like myself, Uncle Bad Touch. By the way, good morning, Uncle Bad Touch. We know who you really are.
Come on, man.
So anyway, no, I didn't. No, it wasn't me that said Hanoi Jane. Hanoi Jane is actually trending on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. These are trending topics. Yes, Hanoi Jane is trending. So anyway, Jane Fonda is stumping for Kamala Harris in Michigan ahead of the movie The Butler. Thousands of Vietnam War veterans signed a petition objecting to Hanoi Jane playing Nancy Reagan. What would you tell them? I asked her. She said, tell them to get a life. So I called some of them and told them that Jane Fonda told you to get a life. One said, a lot of my buddies wish they could get a life, but they're dead because of her. An editor removed that quote from my story. So this is oh my God. Who was he writing for when he wrote that? The editor removed that line from his story. So anyway, she's out in Michigan stumping for Kamala Harris. So that's big news. And that's why some people are mentioning Hanoi Jane. So there you go. Yes, I'm dating myself. In fact, I'm going to buy myself lunch this afternoon. Now, let's see. Are we in the main topic today? Yes, we're into the main topic. So as I said, there's a lot of there's a lot of First Amendment stuff in the news. I'm sorry. What did I say? North Korea? I meant North Vietnam. Yeah. You know. Oh, I can't. Nope. Not gonna tell that joke. I could. Someone in the chat's gonna tell. What joke was I about to say? Chat, what joke was I about to say? Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh yes. Wow. A pro-Marx communist stumping for a Marxist. Yes. Very good, Texas AG. Way to go, Tex. Okay. So there's yes, Soundable Nation. Oh my God. I'm not gonna even say it out loud. Oh damn. UV. Oh my goodness. No, now y'all are getting racist. Well, I guess it's not racist, it's true, but it's still some people say all black people look alike too, but I definitely am more beautiful than most. Anyway, so let's get into the First Amendment stuff today, because some of this napalm sticks to kids. Oh my God. No, that's not what I was going to say. Holy shit. So anyway, yesterday, Tim Walz's name popped up several times on the internet regarding this little ditty he had on the Joy Reid show when he was talking about free speech, and he said this.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
What? What? Tim Walz. Now remember, this is Tim Walz who during the pandemic in my state set up snitch lines so you could call and turn in your neighbors if they were having a barbecue that had 11 people instead of 10. And this motherfucker, I can't guarantee that Harris will win Minnesota, because there's a lot of people just don't like this guy. But this brought on the subject of Democrats who seem to think that only the speech that they like should be allowed. And good morning. Now What Studios, my friend Wu from high school, my dear friend. How you doing? So then this got into this thing that happened in California, and it's the reason Gavin Newsom, it's funny because I call Chuck Schumer the smarmy prick from New York. I need a nickname for Gavin Newsom because he's very similarly smarmy prick, but he's from California, and I don't want to use the same line, but maybe you can come up with something for me. So Gavin Newsom apparently, oh my gosh, CNN fact-checked the Harris campaign social media account. Wow. So anyway, the reason Gavin Newsom trending is because in California they signed a law that makes deep fakes. It's a deep fake and actor protection law. Okay. Now this is interesting, and part of it is because of this parody ad for the Harris campaign. Okay, so here's the parody ad. Let's watch the parody ad. Oops, let's go full screen here. So this is a parody ad about the Kamala Harris campaign.
I, Kamala Harris, am your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant. Talking about the significance of the passage of time. Right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it,
this
there
is
great
brilliant.
Significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time. Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate
damn, did they really go there? Oh, no. I didn't know they went there. I haven't seen this whole ad. I just saw the beginning of it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is going on the show today. This is why this got Gavin Newsom and the Democrats in California into their feelings. Let's finish this.
In my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking.
The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
She's always got to redefine things in such an elementary school way. It's what did you say? A relationship in that which is also known as an alliance.
And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened
by what has been, and we must burden her by what has been. So anyway.
And by what has been, I mean, Joe Biden. You think the country...
Yes! The unburdened by what has been, and by what has been, I mean Joe Biden, because she doesn't want the burden of what happened with Joe Biden on her record. That's why I keep saying that line. We must burden her by what has been, because she's, Biden Harris. You've heard of that, right? Biden Harris. Do you know who the Harris is in Biden Harris? Oh, yeah, that would be Kamala Harris. And I said her name right. I'm not racist.
We went to over the past 4 years. You ain't
so anyway, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Oh, man. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. So anyway, Gavin Newsom just signed a bill making memes and parody illegal in his state because of that video. Gavin would be very mad if this video went viral again. True. So here's the here it is. Where is wrong one. Where is it? Oh no, did I accidentally close the article? I might have. Okay, well anyway, let's just go back this way then. Oh gosh, that's creepy. That's very, very apropos, isn't it? So anyway, let's see. Governor signed a bill that could make posting memes and parody illegal. This goes against the Constitution and the First Amendment. What's happening in California will happen across all of America if Kamala wins. Free speech is at risk. Yeah, they want to make it so. They want to make it so that they control what is said, and only things that they approve of are allowed to be said. And it's just really weird. Now, we're going to come back here also. This is Tim Walz. Oh, I guess that thing is 2022 with Tim Walz. So here it is. Tim Walz in 2022. No guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech. So Minnesota Governor Tim Walz said in 2022 that there's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, which is actually just the freaking opposite of the truth regarding the First Amendment. In fact, even, Joe Walsh, not the good Joe Walsh, but the dipshit Joe Walsh that I talk about quite a bit on here. Right here, even Joe Walsh gets this right. Respectively, Tim Walz, you're wrong. The First Amendment does guarantee free speech when it comes to misinformation and hate speech. Hate speech is protected speech in this country, and that's a damn good thing. Now, I'm sure some people had some issues with him saying that, but good Lord. That's Tim Walz saying that. He's the vice president's candidate. So here it is. He was on the Readout in 2022 where he talked about penalties for disinformation. Penalizing. Again, what's this? They want to criminally charge you for misinformation. Well, why isn't Hillary Clinton in jail then? I mean, she's the one who spread the Steele dossier. She paid for it. She got it, disseminated through her campaign. So are we gonna, or everyone who says the word bloodbath, that Donald Trump said it would be a bloodbath if he lost the election, implying like violence versus just a bad for the auto industry. Here's the whole thing, Tim. Well, this is a long one. That's the long version. This is short.
I think we've
already seen that. He said, I want to talk about what you just mentioned about misinformation, because oftentimes before in previous political chapters, disinformation, telling people where to vote the wrong way, was kind of these were considered shenanigans, but it's becoming more ominous. Can you talk a little bit about, this is Joy Reid's question, can you talk a little bit about, or no, Maria Teresa Kumar was on that day, about what you will do to ensure that there are penalties for that? Walz answered, yeah, years ago, it was the little things, telling people to vote the day after the election, and we kind of brushed them off. Now we know it's intimidation at the ballot box. Is it now? If you're dumb enough to not know what election day is, I think that's on you. But anyway, it's undermining the idea that mail-in ballots aren't legal. Shouldn't be. They're not secure. I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around democracy. To tell the truth, where the voter places are, who can vote, who's able to be there. So anyway, he was talking about that, but still, no, he's absolutely 100% wrong on that. So and it's weird how Democrats are, have all kinds of things like this. Here's Hillary Clinton again. Hillary calls for Americans to be criminally charged for free speech. That sounds like Russian propaganda. What? So let's say for real. Okay, let's say for real that an American, let's say they actually agree with Russians about things. Should they be, and whether it's Russian propaganda in America, even if it's Russian propaganda, it's legal. Now, I don't want Russian propaganda. I'm not going to listen to much Russian propaganda, but if someone believes that, it's legal for you to say it. It's almost like you're saying you should be criminally charged for speech that sounds like Russian propaganda. That sounds like something you would do in Russia, you dumbass. What? Mind blown.
Wow.
It's uncanny how just the cognitive dissonance of her saying that is just incredible. It's just incredible. So anyway, thank you, Avocado Diablo, being this first sponsor of the day. You are the new Streamlabs superstar sponsor of the day. Dropping a small bullet in the tip jar, who says even Kamala's turn the page, even if you buy into it, is not that smart. Turning from one page to another means you are still in the same book. Yes, and also, thank you, Avocado Diablo. Appreciate you. You get one of these too. There's also one of her slogans too is there's one I gotta remember which one it is, but the slogan that that she uses is straight out of the Communist Party of America, whatever. And I think it's funny that it's likely inadvertent, but it's just weird. So anyway, we're going to stick to First Amendment stuff. So now with some media things here. You can't disagree with the left. It is illegal. That's kind of what that's what it's coming down to. But the problem is when you say, for example, let's take Tim Wall's example, for example, when he says that, free speech does not include misinformation. My biggest problem with that stupidity is who is the arbiter of information? Who's the arbiter of information? Who gets to decide what is information and what is misinformation or disinformation or malinformation, whatever? Who decides that? Who gets to tell you whether or not what you're saying is misinformation? And they tried to set up what the misinformation commission, whatever the fuck they call that shit, early in the Biden administration, and people no, we're not doing this. But if one ideology or whatever is in control of the information and deciding what you could say, then you never get to hash out if they're wrong, if they're the only ones who get to decide what's misinformation. I'm pretty sure the reason that the First Amendment came about, as far as your biggest freedom, is because the king was the one who determined what was true or not. And the king didn't live in the colonies. And the colonies may have had a different reality as to what was going on in the colonies than the king did. But the king ultimately had the power to say, no, you're not allowed to say this, you're not allowed to say that, whatever. Ministry of Truth. Yeah, it was pretty much that. And, they're constantly saying, oh, well, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, right? And yet, their fundamental argument when it comes to disinformation, misinformation, whatever, that is anti-democracy. And again, I'll go back to where's the meme that, where's the meme in the cat turd link here? This right here. I mean, this is so true. Liberals, if we could just jail Trump, get rid of MAGA, end the Electoral College, stack the Supreme Court, ban voter ID, and censor free speech, we can save democracy. Oh, yeah. Democracy meaning our people in power. Because that's really all they give a shit about. So, In other First Amendment style news, how much time do I have? Oh, I'm doing good for time today. Holy shit. I stayed on point a lot better today. No more tangents. In PJ Media, an MSNBC columnist says Ralph, the attempted assassin, failed assassin of the former ex-president, was justified in wanting to take his shot at Trump. This is American media, thank you. Steve Bannon, former blogger for the Washington Monthly and a current producer and contributor to the Rachel Maddow show, shocker, thinks that Mar-a-Lago would-be assassin was justified in wanting to take a shot at the former President Donald Trump. Are you going to get a Secret Service visit soon? Or in Bannon's word, the quote, alleged would-be shooter, Bannon has complained that Donald Trump is blaming Democrats for using violent rhetoric that motivated Ralph to try to kill the former president. But Ralph is right, claims Bannon. Trump is indeed, and here's that phrase, a threat to democracy. Now, this is him tweeting this or posting it on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. Trump believes it's excessive to say he's a threat to democracy, but he really has endorsed an authoritarian-style vision. Has he now? Compared to who? Compared to who? Compared to Kamala Harris? Compared to Joe Biden? I mean, Joe Biden, his staff that makes all his decisions for him certainly think that he has a great authority as president of the United States that he doesn't necessarily really have. The only way that you can think that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy is if to think that the president has the power of a king. The president can just change whatever laws and statutes and the Constitution, amendments and whatever at will without the other branches of government. And that's the problem. Well, it's not the problem. That's the feature of our government system is that, no, the president doesn't have that much power. And when people bitch about the Electoral College, I always say, well, wait a minute. The president isn't the president of the people. The president of the United States is the president of the Confederation of States that originally wasn't supposed to have all that much power. Your state government is a democracy. Your local government is a democracy. That's where the power should lie in what happens in your day-to-day life. The president of the United States pretty much just was supposed to be the one who negotiated treaties that affected all the states as a group, as a confederation, as a republic. And the president was not supposed to have that much power over the laws of the people. Same with Congress, same with the Supreme Court. It was the common interests of the states, not the common interest of the people. The people would have their own local government that would make those types of day-to-day laws and decisions. And that's where your democracy is. The United States is not a pure democracy. It is the federal government represents all the states as a group. And thus the Electoral College makes sense as far as not giving all the power to the states with the largest populations, because you're making decisions for all the states, not just the states with the big populations. So the smaller states should have a say in what happens to them too, right? So the Electoral College actually was a brilliant idea of balancing the idea of power between the states or the state's interest and the people and the people's interest. And that's why Congress is split that way too, because the same people who say you shouldn't have an electoral college also say that the Senate should not have, each state should not have 2 senators. Well, now, okay, so if you take away the electoral college and you take away the Senate in its current form, then you just have a democracy, and a democracy is 2 wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner. Ben Franklin, I didn't make that up. So that's why we have a representative republic that is not a democracy. It's a representative republic. If you want democracy, go to your city council and run for that. Or run for your governor. So Pure democracy has never been tried on a scale larger than the city-state. Yeah, I guess I don't even know if it's actually been tried. I mean, so other countries do have. I guess they have direct voting. I don't know if countries do or not, but I don't care. I don't want that. I want each state. You know what? I want a choice. If I really decide that Minnesota sucks completely, I will gladly move. I moved here because I liked it. Although it's getting weird here. I'm telling you, it's getting weird. But although, here's the other thing too. All you people who say, oh, they burned down Minneapolis, or they burned down this. Okay, they didn't burn down the whole city. The city of Minneapolis is this giant, place. All that burning that you saw in that in the videos during the George Floyd riots, that was along one main thoroughfare in the area called Uptown. Basically, and that's where all that action happened. It didn't burn down the whole city, but it burned down a significant number of businesses that were minority owned. Let's just put it that way. All right, back to this though. So the Steve Bannon, he thinks it's like they say Trump's rhetoric Trump needs to tone down his rhetoric, but then this guy is saying he's repeatedly accused his perceived foes of being threats to democracy. Well, that's because that's what you all blame him to be. So first of all, it takes a special kind of moral blindness to excuse a would-be presidential assassin. That's first thing. Yeah, good point. Beyond that, Bannon employs exactly the same arguments used by the right to push back against the left when they blame conservatives for school shootings or any other violence. First, the investigation into the alleged would-be shooter is just beginning. The idea that the former president can speak to the suspect's motivations in detail is difficult to take seriously, given the preliminary evidence. Ryan Wesley Routh's politics were, to put it mildly, idiosyncratic, supporting Republican, Democratic, and independent candidates, including in 2016 Trump himself. To characterize him as some kind of lifelong Democrat partisan is a stretch. However, he is definitely been found to be a Kamala Harris, Tim Walz supporter, because he has the damn sticker on his truck, and all his rhetoric of late has been around this threat to democracy talking point that the Democrats have. So, but this argument has been made by Republicans every time Democrats trot out the violent rhetoric leads to violence narrative. The truth is that only partisans and biased media need the meme that violent rhetoric leads to violent acts to score political points with the voters. There are several reasons that an assassin like Jared Loughner shot 19 people in a Phoenix parking lot in 2011, including Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, which did what he did. What went through his mind at the time is unknowable. Democrats blame Republicans anyway. Ryan Routh's motivations may be different, but they are probably just as irrational. He was described as a whack job by foreign fighters who tried to join in Ukraine, according to the New York Post. A crazy idiot, but no one's really surprised, said one American in Ukraine. There are people like that show up and are desperate to help and be important. He was just one of those, just on the crazier side of things. In 2011, the left immediately blamed a map by Sarah Palin that targeted 30 vulnerable Democrats, including Giffords. The map showed where the congressional districts were and placed crosshairs on each district. Within hours of the assassination attempt, Democrats were blaming Palin. This despite no evidence indicating that Loughner was motivated by anything connected to Palin's map or any rhetoric from any Republican. Now, there are a few cold-blooded assassins. The one thread that connects all of them is not politics or ideology. What ties these assassins together, from John Wilkes Booth to Lee Harvey Oswald, is an overweening desire for attention. Oswald was the neglected little boy who thought he'd be a hero in communist countries by killing Kennedy. James Earl Ray similarly believed white supremacists would think him a saint for killing Martin Luther King. So now we can put an asterisk by all that Lee Harvey Oswald stuff, but you know what I mean. Anyway, moving on, more media news. I don't know. Did we ever go through Chris Cuomo's apology to Trump, which is kind of wild? Reaction is unacceptable. Chris Cuomo calls and apologizes to Trump after assassination attempt. Journalist Chris Cuomo revealed, hi Big Dave, Monday that he called former President Donald Trump after the second assassination attempt against him, saying he is ashamed of the unacceptable reaction from the media. Wow.
Wow.
Former CNN host who anchored a show at the network for 8 years, including 2021, made the remarks on his primetime News Nation show Monday night. The reaction is unacceptable, Cuomo said. The media and its political players have gotten away with playing down what should be a cause for panic. Here's the
Chris Cuomo here.
Oh,
I
no.
appreciate you joining.
17 minutes. I showed part of it yesterday. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, if you want to watch the whole thing, it is in this article. It was 17 minutes on this subject at the shameful media reaction to an attempted assassination attempted assassination attempt on a former president of the United States. Shameful. All right, moving on. And again, this is an example of some of these just terrible takes. NPR. On Monday, newscast of Morning Edition, NPR political correspondent Danielle Kurtzleben said that, quote, "We have weeks until Election Day and violence can have terrifying knock-on effects." And then cited as an example, after the Trump assassination attempt in Butler, the crowd briefly turned to the press and yelled that the shooting was journalists' fault. It was very tense and very frightening for a short while there. Oh, no! Donald Trump shot journalists most affected. Co-host Steve Inskeep asked, relevant exchange between around to the 2-minute mark, well, now police have a suspect in custody, as we've heard from Greg Allen. He has his own political views, apparently, as expressed over the years on social media. I should note these kinds of attacks are most commonly traced to individuals who act out of their own, often very strange or inexplicable motives. But what, if anything, does this incident say about American politics generally? Kurtzleben responded, quote, "Well, surprisingly, I'm going to say..." Oh, I should do an NPR voice, though, right? I should do this. This is NPR. Why am I talking so loudly? Hang on. Kurtzleben responded, "Well, surprisingly, I'm going to say it doesn't say anything good. But to expound, there was a clip you played earlier where the Secret Service spokesman yesterday said, 'We live in dangerous times.' And yeah, that's the blatant truth. Consider that another major storyline right now is that Trump and his running mates' hateful rhetoric towards immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, was followed by bomb threats in schools there. And we've seen this kind of disturbing incident growing for years, especially since Trump came to power or even got into politics. There was January 6th. There was the attack on Paul Pelosi. Had nothing to do with politics. Sorry, I digress. Former Speaker Representative Nancy Pelosi's husband. There have been threats to election workers by the Black Panthers in Upper New York. But again, she concluded, "I just keep thinking about after the Trump assassination attempt in Butler, the crowd briefly turned to the press and yelled that the shooting was journalists' fault. It was very tense and very frightening for a short while there. My point is we have weeks until Election Day, and violence can have terrifying knock-on effects." So there you go. There you go. That's on NPR. Sorry, if you fell asleep during that, wake up! I know NPR has the general effect to put people's asses to sleep. All right. Also in the links today, and this is, and it's funny because they keep talking about violent rhetoric, but then they yet continue to double down on Trump being a threat to democracy. And this is by Victoria Taft. "I can't recall anyone uttering anything this irresponsible from the White House podium ever. In the first White House presser since the latest attempt on former President Trump's life, Biden administration spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre shockingly doubled down on vile anti-Trump rhetoric that arguably led to another attempted assassination attempt." Now, again, could be kind of, but if they're going to complain about it, then do the same thing that they're complaining about. You worry about that. In a jiu-jitsu of what she thinks passes for logic, Karine Jean-Pierre told White House press corps that Trump was a threat to democracy. When Fox News White House reporters Peter Doocy challenged her, KJB told Doocy that his question was dangerous for asking about it. This is just hours after Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in the White House urged Americans to tone down the political rhetoric after Trump's brush with would-be assassin on Sunday. The shocked Doocy asked Jean-Pierre, how many more assassination attempts on Donald Trump until the vice president, and you pick a different word other than threat? KJP pedantically responded, Peter, I completely disagree with the premise. Should we watch this? Did we watch this already? I think we did.
2 days since somebody allegedly tried to kill Donald Trump again. And
I know we watched it, but we're going to watch it again.
Briefing room calling him a threat.
A
How many more
threat?
assassination attempts on Donald Trump until the president and the vice president and you pick a different word to describe Trump other than threat?
Here comes her jujitsu.
Peter, if anything from this administration, I actually completely disagree with the premise of your question.
Oh, do you?
The question
I
that
can't
you're
imagine
asking, it is also incredibly dangerous in the way that you're asking it.
Boy.
Because
it's dangerous to ask that question after they talk about toning down the rhetoric. It's dangerous to ask a question about your rhetoric that is what?
American people are watching. And to say that, to say that from an administration,
to say what,
who has consistently condemned political violence,
no,
from an
you
administration,
haven't. Really? Did that's interesting. Now wait, maybe she meant, well, she said the administration that condemns violence. Let me think about that, because there's someone in that administration. It's the Biden-Harris administration. Is that right? It is the Biden-Harris administration, and the Harris in Biden-Harris is Kamala Harris, right? Kamala Harris. Yes. Okay. Kamala Harris, isn't she the one who was telling people to stay in the streets during the violence of the George Floyd protest? Wasn't she the one who urged people to donate to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, which was going to bail out people who were committing violence during the George Floyd process? In fact, they raised so much money that they just started bailing out people willy-nilly, including a guy who went and murdered somebody. Because they got so much money because Kamala Harris helped them raise so much money. They had too much money and they had to use it because they're a nonprofit, and so they just started bailing out anyone who was in jail for any offenses, including some violent ones. In fact, the one went and got out and right ahead went out and murdered somebody. But oh yes, this administration has consistently condemned violence. Well, I guess technically that's true because Kamala Harris wasn't part of the administration yet, but boy, oh boy, she is now. Anyway.
Where the president called the former president.
He made
and was thankful, grateful.
Yes,
that he was okay.
he called. That's not what he asked you, though. You're up here talking about how Donald Trump is a threat to democracy.
Okay. From an administration who has called out January 6th, called out the attack of...
Okay, January 6th was 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. What have you done for me lately? Because that's not what he's asking. You said rhetoric. You're the ones who say rhetoric can create violence, and now your rhetoric is calling Donald Trump nasty names, a threat to democracy. He's an existential threat. Well, what do you do when you have an existential threat? At least these assholes hear what you're saying, and they think, they're going to end them. They're going to end the existential threat. You keep saying it. They keep hearing it. What does it do to them?
Paul Pelosi called out.
Again, they go back to January 6th and Paul Pelosi. What other violence have you condemned in the last 8 to 12 years? Certainly not any left-wing violence. Certainly not people attacking Trump supporters when they're online to go to a rally. Certainly not, the college students who just want to go see a conservative speaker speak. How much of that violence have you ever condemned? Did you condemn the violence of the Palestinian protesters who were fighting with police just more recently? It's funny you don't use that example. Did you condemn that violence? Did you condemn from the river to the sea? Have you condemned the people who protested at the Supreme Court trying to break open the doors when they were, when I can't remember if it was when Kavanaugh was being nominated or whatever. Did you condemn that violence? It's funny, there's been more recent violence than January 6, 2021. How much have you condemned? Very little. Nor the rhetoric that may have contributed to it. You lying hell.
And said we need to lower the temperature
after
the Butler incident.
Yeah, and so now you're not.
For you to make that kind of
question about what came out of your mouth, that you would have a question about what came out of your mouth, Karine Jean-Pierre? That you would question about the language you chose to use that was supposed to tamp down that rhetoric that you're still using, my God, I asked you a question about it. That is the travesty here, that you would dare ask me a question about my overheated, violent, inducing rhetoric. Not the fact that I'm using my overheated, violence-inducing rhetoric.
Comment in your question, because your question involved a comment and a statement. And
yes, your rhetoric.
It is.
She's struggling.
That is also incredibly dangerous.
It's incredibly dangerous. It's incredibly dangerous to question the Democrat about anything that they do. It's dangerous. That's incredible. That's a spin machine right there. My washing machine doesn't have a great spin cycle. Thank you, Avocados Diablo, sponsor show again. You are a great American. Who says, but has he condemned political violence today? Will he do it right now, Raggedy Ann? Yes, exactly. Exactly. Holy shit. January 6th was a nothing burger. Try January 13th. Yeah, it's incredible that she did that. All right, a couple more and then I'm going to get out of here. These are just other articles. Apparently Josh Hawley was protested, or some protesters swarmed a hearing. You've got blood in your hand. Republican Missouri Senator Josh Hawley fired back at members of Code Pink, which is reportedly affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party. They're doing these little explainer lines too, and because a lot of them are like, well, the not yet verified or the without evidence, but this one, Code Pink, which is reportedly affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party, and has targeted Hawley before telling them they have blood on their hands. Oh, he said they have blood on their hands, not the other way around. Hawley was leaving a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on anti-Semitism, where he questioned Democrat witness Maya Berry, the executive director of the Arab American Institute, whose own website bio describes herself as a longtime Democratic Party activist. As he did, a group of Code Pink activists could be seen on video swarming Hawley and confronting him with their pro-Palestine views. Hawley responded by telling protesters, you are funded by Chinese. Well, let's watch the video. Here we go.
Genocide is anti-Semitic.
Oh, it's China funded people again.
I'm Jewish, and I fund you.
Who
funds you?
Not China.
APAC?
Not China.
Pro-Israeli.
Oh, there we go. There's the anti-Semitism
No,
right
that's
there.
not anti-Semitism. That's speaking the truth. I'm not the racist. How come there's no...
You are a racist.
How come there is nothing...
You are funded by Chinese money.
You're such a liar.
How can you
got
you
blood
and
on
Trump
your
have a
hands.
lot in common?
You
both
have
liars.
blood on your
Every
hands.
single one.
You have blood on your hands of over 100,000.
You don't know where I get my money
You're
from.
Chinese money.
I know where
exactly
you get
it
you get your money from taxpayers.
from China.
You get your money from taxpayers.
Oh my God, he gets it. Wait. Is that his comeback? Now, look, I think that our government gets way too much money from taxpayers. But wow, one gets money from China and the other gets money from taxpayers. Well, yeah, because he's a senator. That the taxpayers pay his salary. What? How is that a counterpoint? Yeah, I'm rubber, you're glue. Exactly. That was the dumbest counterpoint I think I've ever heard in one of these exchanges. So anyway, Holly went back and forth with them, and Code Pink, they're a bunch of nut jobs anyway. So also in the Daily Wire, now this is brilliant. A federal judge released an alleged cyberstalker in Tennessee who identifies as transgender and made threatening statements aimed at a Christian school. So, wow. Here you come again. Making threats in schools like a transgender idiot. Hello, Shrapnel, by the way. I just saw you there. That had nothing to do with that song. So anyway, Mackenzie McClure, a woman who identifies as a man and goes by Calvin McClure, made a concerning call to Nashville, Tennessee's Christ Presbyterian Academy in March of this year, just days before the anniversary of the Covenant School shooting, when a transgender identifying woman killed 6 victims, including 3 9-year-olds. McClure, a former student of CPA, left a voicemail for the school where she referenced a Marvel movie in which the character returns to an orphanage where he was raised and kills the headmaster who was abusive. The message caused CPA and nearby Currency Ingram Academy to close the following day and resulted in McClure being arrested by federal agents a month later for allegedly cyberstalking. Now, wait a minute. If that person, oh my God, when I said they, I wasn't meaning they, them. When this shithead made the threatening call, shouldn't they be tried for that? I don't know. They've been let go. I guess if they're on bail, I don't know. Anyway, she was arrested for federal agents for cyber stalking. Security cameras at the school also appeared to show McClure walking across campus making obscene gestures in the days before her arrest. Now McClure has been released from federal custody by U.S. District Court Magistrate Judge Chip Frensley. The judge heard from mental health professionals at an East Tennessee mental facility called Pasadena Villa, where McClure was being held. The professionals attested that McClure is now taking her medicine and is no longer delusional and is remorseful. I'm concerned. If this turns out to be a headline a couple months from now, I'm going to be pissed off. One CPA parent, however, explained that he asked the court to keep the alleged cyberstalker in federal custody. I didn't think there would be any response that could stop her if she was determined, he told the Tennessee Star. McClure will now receive outpatient care while living at home with her parents near the school. The alleged cyberstalker also has a history of making concerning statements on social media. Quote, also, Billy knows if he makes one wrong move, it's Joe Ever for him and my 4th grade teacher. And his wife. McClure wrote in Peston. So this is the same. I think these are the same person. No, this is another one. So here's another one. There's 2 of these stories. I thought they were the same person. Now I'm realizing it's not. In Iowa, police arrested a trans-identified 19-year-old on Monday and charged her with a threat of terrorism after she revealed in therapy that she wanted to shoot up an elementary school, according to the Daily Wire. The Norwalk, Iowa, that's right near where I used to live near Norwalk. The Norwalk Police Department announced Monday that it had arrested Margaret Anderson after being made aware last week of a potential threat at Oviatt Elementary School located in Norwalk. In a release, the department said that Anderson had been charged with threat of terrorism under Iowa Code 7088A5 and had been processed in the Warren County Jail. Anderson is a 19-year-old female who identifies as a transgender man. Warren County Attorney Doug Eichholz confirmed to the Daily Wire on Tuesday. The police department said on Monday that Margaret also went by Maxwell, raising initial suspicions that gender identity was at play in the case. Now, it's weird how we're getting this rash of females identifying as males having these episodes. And I gotta wonder if this is a side effect of increased testosterone, because kind of what makes, testosterone, the reason men tend to be a little more aggressive, right? Because it's a nature's way of protecting the less able, right? But it's weird how all of a sudden all these, these transgender identifying females, meaning they're men, are exhibiting these aggressive behaviors and aggressive threats. And the idea that if this person made actual threats, you'd think that there'd be some law against making threats. But anyway, so this is the Warren County attorney said that the case arose out of statements Anderson made to her therapist during a course of regular treatment. Okay, so she didn't make threats directly to the school, but she said she wanted to do a pew-pew event at a school. The therapist then reported the statement to the Des Moines Police Department, he said, which forwarded the information to Norwalk Police Department in her hometown. And then the investigation took off from there. According to Eichholz, the complaint about Anderson says the defendant stated that she had thoughts that she wanted to take a gun to Oviatt Elementary School in Norwalk at 11 a.m. through the cafeteria and shoot children. So that's pretty specific. The complaint did not contain content as to why Anderson was motivated to do that act, the Warren County attorney said. He noted that after Anderson shared these thoughts, she was immediately entered into Iowa Lutheran Hospital in Des Moines, which has a mental facility attached. She was then arrested on Monday, Eichholz said, released Tuesday morning to house arrest with restrictions, including GPS bracelet, and currently is on pre-trial release. So at least they can track this person if they go the wrong places. Because the last one, didn't they say they released this person to their home near the school that they were making threats to? That's flippin' brilliant. Yeah, so that's two wild stories. Good morning, Nomad. What's up?
Hammer time.
The only other articles I have open, let's start here with the Federalist. In the Federalist, Pennsylvania motor voter system is going to be audited for non-citizen voters because I'm surprised that some judge said you can't do that. Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro got mixed reviews in September 2023 when he announced that Pennsylvania had implemented automatic voter registration for, quote, eligible Commonwealth residents obtaining a driver's license and ID cards at Pennsylvania Department of Transportation driver and photo license centers. Before Shapiro switched to automatic voter registration, anyone getting a driver's license was given the option to register to vote. But now, all applying for driver's licenses are automatically registered and must opt out if they don't want to be or cannot be registered to vote. So they give everyone a voter registration whether or not they are eligible. You're automatically registered to vote, and you have to opt out if you're not eligible. Somebody make that make sense. Now, opponents of the move worried that people who are not eligible to vote, such as those who are not citizens of the United States, would not opt out and would be registered anyway. Duh! Duh! In Pennsylvania, at least 628,234 non-citizens had a state's driver's license or a non-driver's license photo identification, according to the Right to Know request response obtained by Heather Honey, executive director of the Election Research Institute and co-founder of Verity Vote. Now, an investigation has been announced to look at how the state is keeping illegal voters from registering in the process of getting a driver's license. Well, clearly they're not. So now they're auditing that system. And in theory, in theory, some of them will be no longer eligible to vote. It's amazing. And this is what they're doing in Minnesota too. They've made it, you are automatically registered to vote when you get a driver's license. And I'm not, and I've never once ever heard of anyone needing citizenship to get a driver's license in the state, because they don't care, but you're automatically registered to vote. So how's that work? They just don't give a shit. All right. Also, speaking of Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania's Democratic-controlled Supreme Court has kicked Dr. Cornel West off the 2024 ballot. Oh my gosh. Someone might vote for Dr. West instead of Kamala Harris. The court shot down left-wing presidential candidate Cornel West's bid to appear on the state's 2024 ballot in a reportedly unsigned order. The Keystone State's highest court affirmed a lower court ruling denying West's bid for ballot access. In that ruling, Commonwealth Court Judge Renee Cohn Jubilator sided with the Office of Secretary of State Al Schmidt in rejecting West's candidacy paperwork, according to the Washington Examiner. Schmidt's office had argued that the paperwork lacked the affidavits for 14 of the 19 presidential electors required by the August 1st filing date, according to the outlet. Schmidt indicated prior to Monday's decision that the final ruling on West's case by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court would allow counties to begin printing ballots for the November contest. Schmidt is a self-professed Republican and was appointed by Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro. So, I don't know if he did or did not meet the requirements to be on the ballot in Pennsylvania, but Democrats are fighting tooth and nail to have any candidate that could possibly hurt Kamala Harris off the ballot in multiple states. And they're trying to make sure that they keep on candidates that they believe could hurt Donald Trump, such as Robert Kennedy Jr., on the ballot, where he's trying to take his name off because he's not running anymore. So it's just, again, this is just a pile of Democrat bullshit, and it just keeps going and going. Thank you, Avocados Diablo, for another sponsorship of the day. Another small bullet who says, need to opt out if ineligible to vote, and people wonder why people have a problem with giving these retards more power. Exactly. I can't remember where that came from. Exactly, but that is a very appropriate word for what you just said. In Oregon, Democrats think Oregon Democrats have gone too far this time. Now, this is amazing. Oregon's Democratic election donation cartel finally may have gone too far. Recently, 2 election scandals have roiled Oregon Democrats, but it isn't so much the overt thievery and lying that stunned the populace. It was the unabashed cover-up by the left's elected fellow travelers who tried to justify it. Power has its perks, and one-party rule is all, which is definitely in Oregon. Good morning, Resolute Germ. What's up? For many decades now, from the deepest recesses of Hell's Canyon to the woods of Estacada, in the dry fields of Klamath Valley and farms in Yamhill, the people dismissed as rubes by Oregon's ruling class until election time have known the dangers of the Democratic cartel running their state. Water is turned off to farmers, trees are worshipped instead of treated as crops, Soros prosecutors construct chaos, universities are perpetual woke machines, black cloaked criminals destroy freedom, and people are abandoning the state. But in a series of campaign election scandals that may have awoken even the bluest of blue Dunthorpe doyens to the fact that they have a problem, and it's them. The erstwhile newspaper of record in Oregon, the Oregonian, recently noticed that this could be a problem. In a September 4th editorial entitled, quote, "The Perils of a One-Party State," end quote, the Oregonian notes that an investigation into the illegal reporting of its biggest one-time donation was blithely papered over by Democrats. The $500,000 donation from one Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX partners was claimed as a donation from the company that provided the wire transfer. They were disguising the I'm going to say it again. The $500,000 donation from one Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX partners was claimed as a donation from the company that provided the wire transfer, not FTX, but the wire. That's a felony for the little people, but not for Democrats. But even the wishy-washy Oregonian had to throw a flag. The Oregon Democratic Party's 2022 election conference were part of the FTX scam. That in itself was a Democratic Party money laundering scheme, despite many clues that now disgraced FTX executive Nishad Singh should be identified as the true donor of the October 2022 contribution. The editorial points out party officials attributed the donation to Prime Trust, the Nevada company that handled the wire transfer. But the Justice Department decided earlier this summer that no criminal charges would be merited. Oh, shocker! No criminal charges? How's that? Oregon State political Party has washed money for the National Party before, but Sam Bankman-Fried was running a Ponzi scheme with cryptocurrency and using those ill-gotten gains to seed money to Democrats all over the country. The Oregonian believes Democrats knew exactly where this money was coming from, and of course they did. But as I say, it got worse. Just take a look at this rotten, incestuous family tree of, quote, leaders, end quote, who were in charge. And here's the quote. Election Division Director Molly Woon, who previously served as the Democratic Party of Oregon's deputy director, never recused herself from oversight of the investigation. Her boss, then Secretary of State Shirley Fagan, who was both a heavy donor to and a recipient of party contributions, agreed there was no need for Woon to recuse herself. Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, who has given more than $115,000 to the Democratic Party of Oregon over the years, made a $2,500 contribution. At the same time, the party was under active investigation by election officials, even though Rosenblum's office would be responsible for pursuing any criminal charges that the investigation might prompt. And while Rosenblum finally recused herself from overseeing the case, she did so only after elections officials cut a deal with the party that slashed a proposed fine from $35,000 to $15,000 and pledged not to request a criminal penalty. These are not reasonable actions by leaders who take seriously the conflict of interest that their deep connections presented. Emphasis added. Now, so this is the Oregonian, which is basically the newspaper of the Democratic Party of Oregon, which basically is a 100% Democrat state, except for those few counties in Eastern Oregon that are trying to make themselves part of Idaho. The Oregonian could only accuse Democrats of casual attitude towards campaign finance compliance and arrogance by leaders about its conflicts of interest. The paper worried that stories like this would justify the Republican Party pouncing. Oh, it's a lovely story. There's a little more left, but you could read that yourself because I'm going to drop these links in the chat like I always do. And there's a couple articles I'm not getting to, so I highly recommend when you see the list of stories that are available today that you click that link and pick and choose wisely. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. I appreciate you joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'll be back tomorrow like I always am on Thursdays and Fridays and Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Please do me a favor, hit the like button if you haven't done so far. There's 31 people here right now, 24 likes, 32 people. And oh no, this stupid thing that Google does to me happened again. This really pisses me off every time it happens. Give me a second. Wait. So annoying. But anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll be dropping the links in the chat as soon as I do this Google nonsense. It makes me verify who I am in the middle of a freaking stream, and it pisses me off. So anyway, I gotta go. Thanks. See you tomorrow. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great